All right. Evening all, or afternoon, as the case may be, depending on where you are. How's everyone doing? Happy King's Day Eve to those of you in the Netherlands. What do you guys do for King's Day? What's that involve? I take it you get the day off work, seeing as it feels like a Friday. Okie dokie. And everyone is here, I think. That's great. Nothing this year, of course, I guess, and the same goes for last year. Normally, what happens? Oh, Beans is snuffling around down here. Beans, you want to come say hello? Way! Here's Beans. Wee! Hello. How do you make these little legs go? Okay. Do you want to go on the couch? No, she's still looking around. But yeah, she's not happy because it's snowy out. Which, what? How is this still happening? It's almost May. It was sunny the other day. I was out grilling up some hens, and then snowing and icy. Yeah, I'm still getting used to the whole Midwestern spring weather situation. Drinking and orange things. All right. Yes, of course. Orange, the color of the Dutch royal family. Lots of grilled meat and beer. So quite similar to the 4th of July here then, I guess. But with orange instead of red, white, and blue. Sounds lovely. But yeah, obviously not quite ready to go back to that this year. At least we can be fairly sure it'll be back to that next year, barring any new strains taking over the world. All right, so let's get started. So first, let's have a look at the rounds we've got coming up tonight. So as usual, we'll be starting with some general knowledge. Moving on to, I'd like to thank the Academy, God, and producer Jessica. Then 1985. Next up, we've got Take a Closer Look, a returning round. And after the interval, another returning round. A fan favorite, Mortal Wombat. Round 6, ZXYX. Round 7, Skewer Tour. It rhymes in certain accents. Probably not in my normal accent, but you know, if you're northern, Skewer Tour. And our final round, as always, is another helping of general knowledge. So, as always, the same rules apply. Make sure you're playing in your browser and not just if you open the link through a different app. It sometimes won't work properly. Make sure you hit submit at the end of each round, and your answers are not logged in until you hit submit. You all know the shtick by now. So without any further ado, let's get into round 1, general knowledge. Question 1, let's have a look. Okay, so keeping it current, what movie won Best Picture at last night's Academy Awards? Was it Promising Young Woman, Nomadland, Mank, or Sound of Metal? So that's something that just happened. Did you watch the news today? You probably heard about it if you did. Has anyone watched any of the Oscar movies this year? Like, I'm often not really hip to what's being nominated for Oscars, but this year especially, I hadn't really heard of any of the movies until I was writing this question. So no, I have not seen any of this year's Oscar-nominated movies. I'd heard of Promising Young Woman, but because that was doing the festival circuit like a year ago and got delayed for COVID, the rest of them I hadn't even heard of. Yeah, exactly. There weren't no movies this year. I think anyone that wins this year gets a little asterisk next to it. Well, some movies have gone straight to streaming. I don't know how you're supposed to watch. Some places cinemas have opened, I guess. Like Oscar rules are dumb. Like a movie only has to run like in Los Angeles County in like 5 theaters for like 3 days to be eligible for an Oscar. Very weird rules. I could have made a question out of that, I guess, but I didn't. So forget that information, and it might be a question next year. Question two. So Facebook recently restored the Facebook group of a town in France after its algorithm had shut it down last month. What was the town called? So, for those of you who still use Facebook, your hometown or neighborhood or whatever probably has one or several little Facebook groups for locals, just for community announcements and stuff. But this town in France had theirs automatically removed by the Facebook algorithm. So what was the name of the town? Was it Quinone, Fuck-sur-la-Mer, Bitch, or Quimper? So which of those is a real town in France? I'll tell you, actually, more than one is a real town in France, but which of those got their Facebook group removed by the algorithm? All right, next one. What was Pepsi originally called? Was it Peptic Silencer? Was it Pep and Sip? Was it Sipper? Or was it Brad's Drink? Which of those was the original name for Pepsi? Yeah, I mean, that is usually the case with those local Facebook groups. We've got some, like, there's a couple I'm in because there's like Walthamstow back in the day, Walthamstow history, like old pictures of Walthamstow, which is my neighborhood in London where I grew up. And it's cool to see, these pictures of the neighborhood from decades past. But also, it is just like a bunch of old racists. One interesting thing I saw in one of those groups, apparently down Walthamstow Market, there used to be a guy who just had a monkey. You'd get your picture taken with a monkey. Guessing you probably wouldn't be allowed to do that these days. So question 4. Last year, Austrian courts ruled that what did not fall under the protection of freedom of speech? Is it farting, anti-vax social media posts, playing loud music at night, or yelling at children and animals? Which of those is not protected by freedom of speech in Austria? At least according to the recent ruling. And last one of the first round, using standard coinage, how many ways are there to make change from a US dollar? 39, 88, 161, or 293? So you have to think, what are the standard coins that are less than a dollar? And how many different permutations of those can you use to make $1? All right, so those are our opening 5 questions. But yeah, this snowy. How's the weather wherever you guys are? I think most people in today are in Northwest Europe. I don't know. Do we have any of our fellow Midwesterners in this week? We sometimes do, sometimes don't. How is the weather? I haven't checked yet today. How's the weather back in the Ireland through UK through Netherlands through Germany belt that most of our quizzes occupy? A monkey in Russia. Was it wearing a little what's it called? Something Shanker. What's that hat called? Maybe brisk but sunny. Dry and cool. A little bit sunny. Yeah, I guess that would be one of the differences between having a King's Day in like a Netherlands May compared to like some parts of the US in July, very hot and sunny. So that does put a different kind of vibe on it. Does the date of King's Day change to like for each new monarch? Huge fire in Northern Ireland. Bloody hell. Yes, the monkey was wearing a hat. That's the important thing. That's what I really wanted to know. Did anyone watch any of the Oscars? I didn't bother because I didn't know any of the movies. Oh well, at least you get your annual 1 week of nice weather. How old's the current Dutch monarch? Because we have to be thinking that UK could be getting a change of monarch soon-ish, maybe. Who knows with that old broad? She's basically looked the same for my entire life. All right, I see. So they can choose whether or not to celebrate it on the actual birthday, kind of like there's like the Queen's official, like the Queen's actual birthday, and the Queen's like a birthday for like royal functions. Like the Queen's birthday is kind of like it's not. Is it a proper holiday? I can't remember, but they spread it out so that it's not too close to any of the other bank holidays and stuff. All right, so hit submit, get those answers in, and we'll see who's off to a flying start and who has stalled at the starting gate. Just absolutely just smashing various sports metaphors together. Just any sense of making sense be damned. So I think we're just waiting on one team. What was question 4 again? That will cycle around in a second. Last year, Austrian courts ruled that what did not fall under the protection of freedom of speech. I don't know how to make vowel sounds anymore. Farting, anti-vax social media posts, playing loud music at night, or yelling at children and animals. That was question 4. All right. Cool. Well, that's a name. That's some Daenerys Targaryen shit. Koning Willem Alexander Klaus George Ferdinand, Koning de Nederlanden, Prins van Oranje Nassau, Jonkheer van Amsberg. What's that last bit mean? All right, so answers are in. Let's have a look. So first up, what movie won Best Picture at last night's Academy Awards? It was Nomadland. I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. Don't know what it's about, who's in it. All right, next up, Bitch, or I don't know the correct way to pronounce that. Bitche was the French town that got its Facebook group shut down. I see. Oh, what knight is the king a squire to? You right, squire? Brad's Drink was the original name of Pepsi. It wasn't invented by a guy named Brad. I think the guy's surname was Bradham or something. So weird choice. Probably a good choice to change it. Like, and calling anything just drink is a bit vague. Farting, a guy farted on a police officer, and his 2 defenses in court were you can't prove I did it on purpose, and even if I did, it's freedom of speech. And they've ruled that farting has no communicative element. It doesn't convey information, so it's not protected by freedom of speech. And there are 293 ways to make $1 from change. So yeah, I'm not going to list them all here, but you can imagine there's a lot because you've got a penny, a nickel, a dime, and a quarter. So lots of different permutations there. Team Coca-Cola, I honestly have no strong preference one way or the other. Which some people have very strong feelings about that, and they don't believe me when I say I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other, but I really don't. All right, let's have a look at the scores then after round one. Cat Flaps, wow, 5 points, perfect first round. Not only a perfect first round, a perfect first round that everyone else had a pretty hard time with. We've got the Van Goghs, Cormax Enterprises, and Big Bag of Cans tied on 2 points each. Then we've got 2 Frankenbeans teams, Frankenbeans and F&B for Presidents. They both have a point apiece. All right, so let's move on to round 2. It's an Oscars-themed round. So we've got, I'd like to thank the Academy, God, and producer Jessica. So we are going to see just short clips from 5 Oscar acceptance speeches from down the years, and you've just got to choose the movie that they won their Oscar for. I think it's all actor / supporting actor, so we don't have any directors in here, I don't think. And you're going to, yeah, it's multiple choice. These are acceptance speeches that were like kind of got a fair bit of attention at the time for one reason or another. Liz is actually F&B for Presidents, I think. Cat Flaps would be clear. So let's have a look at our first one. And you've got to guess what movie this acceptance speech was related to.
I would like to thank the Academy from the bottom of my heart. I would like to thank Emily Watson and Fernanda Montenegro and my friend Kate Blanchett and the greatest one who ever was, Meryl Streep. I don't feel very deserving of this in your presence, but I would like to thank Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, better cut that off there. Awkward. Yes, so that was Gwyneth, and was she accepting that for her role in Emma, Shakespeare in Love, or The Talented Mr. Ripley? Okay, let's have a look at clip number 2.
Here we go. Okay, the studio, I love you, and Cameron Crowe, and Tom Cruise. I love you, brother. I love you, man. Derek Crowe, Sean Settles, Keith Butler, all my behind-the-scenes crew. Regina King, I love you. You did a great job when we made the movie. Everybody involved with the movie, I love you.
So that was Cuba Gooding Jr. going into the play him off music there, thanking everyone he'd ever met. Was that for Boys in the Hood, A Few Good Men, or Jerry Maguire? Yeah, that was pre-vagina egg Gwyneth, pre-goop Gwyneth. All right, our third Oscar acceptance speech.
It's my privilege. Thank you.
Joe Pesci showing everyone how to do it. Short and sweet. It looks like that was the same year as Cuba Gooding Jr. But was that for his role in Goodfellas, My Cousin Vinny, or Casino? All right, the fourth clip.
Start with telling you all how amazing the experience of feeling the sisterhood of being included in a group with Joan Allen and Juliette Binoche and Laura Linney and Ellen Burstyn for these last weeks.
All right, so we had Julia Roberts there And did she win for Steel Magnolias, Pretty Woman, or Erin Brockovich? Yes, Joe Pesci definitely should have picked up Oscars for both Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And our fifth and final clip.
I'm in shock, and I'm so in love with my brother right now. He just held me and said he loved me, and I know he's so happy for me. And thank you for that. And so thank you to Columbia, Winona, you're amazing, and thank you for supporting all of us through this. And
yeah, that was the Oscars where she made out with her brother on the red carpet. Very weird. But was that for Girl Interrupted, Alexander, or Changeling? And of course, that was Angelina Jolie. So we've watched our 5 clips. They are in the forms, I think, maybe not. I didn't check. Anyway, we've seen them all. You know who they were. And let's get those guesses in. So we saw a few different people being thanked during those speeches. The most thanked during Oscar speeches, by far the Academy is by far the most thanked thing. Mum and dad, second place, spouse or partner, I think, after that. But in terms of individuals, God only ranks in 6th place. So the 5 people thanked more than God. In 5th place, Peter Jackson. I think he banged all his out in 1 year when that Lord of the Rings movie won all those Oscars. I think everyone who got one thanked him. George Lucas, James Cameron, Harvey Weinstein's in 2nd place. We heard Gwyneth thanking him there earlier. And Steven Spielberg, the most thanked individual in Oscars acceptance speeches. Also, those 5 men all thanked more than God. And let's have a look at the answers. So Gwyneth won her Best Actress role, her Best Actress Oscar for Shakespeare in Love, a controversial win to say the least. Next up, Cuba Gooding Jr. got Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Jerry Maguire. Then Joe Pesci had his Best Actor in Goodfellas. Number 4, Julia Roberts got Best Actress for Erin Brockovich. And finally, Angelina got Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Girl Interrupted. So let's see how everyone did there. Some of those actors, you know, they're just in a ton of Oscar-y movies, so it's quite easy to come up with their decoys. Others of them, not so much. Let's have a look. Okay, so Cat Flaps still in the lead. Not as big of a lead thanks to strong performances from Cornmax Enterprises, Big Bag of Cans, and F&B for Presidents, all having perfect rounds there. But Cat Flaps still with a 1-point lead, 8 points in total. And then the Van Goghs with 5, Frankenbeans with 4. All right. Was what a dig at Cuba Gooding Jr. Was who Georgia Fox? Oh, I can't, sometimes I can't keep track of what's being referred to, so you're gonna have to bear with me. All right, so okay, thanks for the nickname there, Jessica. Let's get on to round 3. Which is 1985. Oh, something less good movies. Well, yeah. So, Cuba Gooding Jr. obviously, famously, kind of fell off after his Oscar win, but just before it, he was in a few highly regarded movies. Okay, so 1985. So we're talking about the lesser known sequels to famous novels. So I'm going to give you the title and a brief summary of the plot of 5 lesser known novel sequels. You need to type in the name of the original novel. So there isn't really a 1985, but if there was, it would clearly be a sequel to 1984. Oh, I see. For the title card. So we got 1985. Let's have a look. So first up, the title, Go Set a Watchman, and a short description of the book. This early draft of a modern American classic was marketed as a sequel when it was discovered a few years ago. So we don't need the author or anything. Yeah. We really there's a lot of slow books there. There's a lot of focusing on the Eurasian economy. Okay, so what was the book that came before Go Set a Watchman? All right, next one is called The Starlight Barking. So in this off-the-wall sequel to a children's classic, the heroes of the original gain telepathy, the power of flight, meet aliens, and one even becomes the acting prime minister. So what was the original to The Starlight Barking? All right, number 3. Porno is the title, and a short description. Picking up 10 years after the events of the original, the action is transported from the world of heroin addiction to that of amateur pornography. So, what came before porno? All right, our 4th one, Scarlet. So, picking up where the public domain original left off, 55 years before, this critically panned, unauthorized sequel transplants the heroine from Reconstruction era Georgia to the unrest of late 19th century Ireland. And our final lesser known sequel, Dr. Sleep. This horror sequel follows the psychic child featured in the original, now an adult who must protect a child who shares his gift, much as he was protected by a fellow psychic in the original. So what was the original book there? The sequel called Dr. Sleep. Phone calls, the new trivia, please. Yeah, we now live in a house with a landline phone. So we've escaped from the trivia police, but they are now constantly calling. It's like, we know where you are. We're making our way to you by foot. All right. So we've got those 5 titles, 5 short blurbs, and you've got to tell us what the original, much more well-known novel was called in each case. These are all pretty famous books, the originals. Some of them, I think, maybe the movie adaptation would be better known than the novel, but I think the novels are well known in all cases. Yes, so the public domain rush at the start of each year does prompt a flood of these. So this year was The Great Gatsby's turn. I think we had, during one of our first trivias of the year, I think we had around about that, actually. And the author of, well, there's probably been more than one Great Gatsby one, but I think the one that got publicity, the classic uncreative premise / title combo of writing a prequel focused on the narrator of the original Nick Carraway, just called Nick, which just haven't read it. I haven't heard if it's good or not. Maybe it's very good, but that's just a very uninspiring like title and premise. You hear that and you're like, ugh, just really, you know. I'm glad that stuff passes into the public domain, but it would be nice if the people using the characters tried a bit harder. What do you mean? Blues Brothers 2000 better than the original? What soundtrack? They should have done like a new metal Blues Brothers. All right, so let's have a look at the answers. So first off, To Kill a Mockingbird was the original. Go Set a Watchman was originally marketed as it's a sequel. It's a sequel because largely it is set during Scout's young adulthood in her 20s, but it then came out that it was just the first draft of To Kill a Mockingbird before Harper Lee decided to extensively rewrite the book to make like the flashback sequence to Scout's childhood make up the entire book. Next up, 101 Dalmatians. It's got talking dogs and a possibly cursed lady living in a devil mansion, and it's pretty wacky, but it's not dogs can fly and have telepathy and become the prime minister and meet aliens wacky. But yeah, the Starlight Barking was a sequel to 101 Dalmatians. The movies 101 Dalmatians have also gotten sequels. They did not adapt the Starlight Barking. Okay, next up. Porno was a sequel to Trainspotting. So it's 10 years later. Renton has used the money to open a nightclub in Amsterdam. Begbie gets out of prison. And Sick Boy is making amateur porn. Next up, Scarlett, referring to Scarlett O'Hara, the heroine of Gone with the Wind. She moves to Ireland for a large portion of the book. She secretly has Rhett's baby. It's like 800 pages long. It does not come strongly recommended by just about anybody. And Dr. Sleep was a sequel to The Shining. So it's little Danny Torrance has grown up. He's still got the shine. Yeah, I've heard Porno is pretty good. I think that did get adapted pretty. It was a pretty direct adaptation into Trainspotting 2, the second movie, which I haven't seen, which I also heard was pretty decent. Yeah, Cruella de Vil origin story I've seen with Emma Stone. I think the relative success of the Maleficent movies has really led them to overestimate the type of villain that can be rehabilitated as an anti-hero. An evil fairy, sure, why not make them into the protagonist of a movie? All their evil is very abstract and silly and magic based, and she turns into dragons and makes people go to sleep. She doesn't even kill anyone. Cruella de Vil literally kills puppies. So I don't know how they're planning on getting anyone to sympathize with that character. Anyway, let's see how people did on that round. And scoreboard's updating presently. Okay, Cornmax taking the lead there. 12 points, 2 5s in a row. Great job, Cornmax. Big Bag of Cans, another strong round. Just a point shy there on 11. Cat Flaps still well in the running. Tied in third place with F and B for Presidents, 10 points each. Van Gogh's on 9. Frankenbeans lagging behind with 6 points. I think naming your team Frankenbeans, it's bad juju today. They've got naughty energy. All right, so let's have a look at round 4. Last round before the intermission, and it's a picture round. So take a closer look. We're going to show you a very zoomed in picture of a thing, and you just have to type what you think the thing is. The premise is very simple, but we'll give you a couple of minutes to look closely at these pictures before typing your answers in. Let's see the first picture. All right, so what's that? What is it? A zoomed in picture of. If we zoom out, what we're going to see? Yes, porno is a difficult book to Google. All right, next picture, very zoomed in. What are we very zoomed in upon? Okay, number 3. Okay, what's that? A very zoomed in picture of. How scientific? You don't need to be scientific at all. Common names preferred. All right, so what have we zoomed in on there? All right, next up. But yeah, these will all be double checked because there are definitely going to be acceptable answers that we haven't thought to program into our spot. So that's one of the reasons we have put it before the interval. All right, so another zoomed in picture. What are we zoomed in on? And picture number 5. So all of these pictures should be embedded in your forms. So what is picture 5? Okay, so have a look, have a think. We're going to go to the intermission, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
I'm gonna keep my head up high, and you can't see in my eyes. So much darkness I can fight. Oh, I won't forget what I have faced. I won't forget what I have faced.
He's a tough man, gonna show you what it feels. He's a strong man, tell him what you need. He's a strong man, he can do anything. When you need help, it becomes something real. He's a tough man.
Hi guys, sorry for the longer than usual break. Had to both use the loo and get a beer. Usually I only have to do one or the other. And because I didn't have my first half this beer this time, I've gone with Liney's, a wee heavy Scotch ale, Big Eddie. I don't know if you can see there. It's pretty alcoholic, 9.5%. Leinenkugel's Wisconsin brewery, and I will tell you, my first time in Wisconsin, I met Dick Leinenkugel. Little bit of Wisconsin cred there for me. So, number 3 pissing you off. Well, yeah, let's get those. Just have your best guess, because we're back from the intermission now. Maybe you'll kick yourself when you see it. Maybe you won't. But get a guess in, and we'll see how you do. Any kind of like gut instinct you have. I think we're waiting on 2 or 3 teams. So if you're one of those teams, I know it's tricky. You're like, oh, what is it? But yeah, write something, hit it. I think everyone's in now anyway, because I can see the answers have come up on the screen. So round 4, answer 1. Let's see it zoomed out. Okay, so here's the picture. If we take a step back, it's a cactus. He zoomed in a picture of a cactus, or a cactus spine, thorn, what have you. Next up, it's bristly. And Jessica showed me, I guess, a walrus, but it's actually just a human mustache. Not me. It was not an MJ mustache. Next up, this is a tricky one. I can see why this would get people. Could be just a bone-in piece of meat, but no, it's actually a spool of thread. Anything thread adjacent that was guessed, we would give string or wool. Yes, obviously they're a bit bigger, but it's hard to tell scale at this level of zoom. We don't want to be too mean. All right, next up. Well, I think most people could guess it's some kind of cheesy food. Is it lasagna? Is it chicken parm? But it is pizza. All right, and then the last one. It's a cocktail umbrella, a little paper cocktail umbrella. So yeah, we accepted thread and yarn and wool and so on, because it's difficult. I mean, they're close enough, right? It's zoomed in. You got the gist of it, so you get the point for those. So let's have a look at the scores. So because these are human check scores, I think we just have to give them an extra second. Whew, that is powerful. And they will get double checked as well. Do you ever unwrap the white tip of the cocktail umbrella? Always a fun surprise. Is there? Cormax Enterprises holding on to the lead there. Cormax has had 5 perfect rounds in a row, which very impressive work there. So a well-deserved lead there. 2-point lead over F&B for Presidents in second place with 15. The Van Goghs, three perfect rounds in a row. Sorry, did I say 5? 3 in a row. The Van Goghs in third. Big Bag of Cans and Cat Flaps tied on 4th. And Frankenbeans in 5th place there with 8 points. I tell you, one drop of this Big Eddie. Yeah, it's got me misspeaking. All right, so congratulations, Cormax. Very, very strong performance so far. Let's see who can catch up. Yeah, Liney's is good. I do like, they make some good beers. I think Stephen Point Brewery might just edge them out for me personally, but Liney's is good too. Small Straight, yeah. What you've got like the round 5, Mortal Wombat. So this is a returning round. I think Jessica this is still probably her all-time favorite graphic that she's made. So what we've done here, we've changed one letter from the name of a video game, and then we've described how the game might be if this were the name. And you've got to tell us what the original video game was. Oh no, wait. Do we want the original video game or the changed one? I can't remember how we've scored this in the past. Yeah, we want we wanted the edited version. So we want the changed name. So we're giving you the description, and you are going to give us like what this game is. It's one letter different from a real video game. So like in like a past example might be like we described an Italian plumber propels himself around a race course with the power of his own flatulence, and you type in Mario Fart, just to clarify there. All right, so we want the edited name. We want the one letter different name. So first up, travel around the world defeating a colorful cast of martial artists in a no holds barred tournament as one of the most acclaimed film actresses of your generation. All right, so travel around the world defeating a colorful cast of martial artists in a no-holds-barred tournament as one of the most acclaimed film actresses of your generation. Next, journey across the Australian outback, reducing small marsupials to paste beneath your boots as you go. Journey across the Australian outback, reducing small marsupials to paste beneath your boots as you go. Next up, play as a large plastic jug of margaritas with magical powers who travels a strange fantasy continent, ridding the land of monsters. So play as a large plastic jug of margaritas with magical powers who travels a strange fantasy continent, ridding the land of monsters. What is that one letter changed game? So we want the wacky version, the changed version. Okay, next up, take down the gangsters who killed your family using obsolete office equipment in this noir third-person shooter. So take down the gangsters who killed your family using obsolete office equipment in this noir third-person shooter. And finally, add squid ink and activated charcoal to your bisques and broths to preserve the age of fire in this RPG. Just don't forget to serve them with a roll to one side. So add squid ink and activated charcoal to your bisques and broths to preserve the age of fire in this RPG. Just don't forget to serve them with a roll to one side. All right, so in each of those, you're taking the name of a real well-known video game, you're changing one letter in order to make the wacky video game that we've described. So yeah, we want the change names. We want the names that are one letter different than the real game. So the name that would match the descriptions that we gave. Yes, I don't know. I've been all over the place since we come back from the interval. I've literally had like 3 sips of beer. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You don't know till the scores start coming in, or until the answers start coming in. I think you probably will all have heard of all of these games when you hear them. But whether you can get the one letter off version from the clues is a different story. So I'll use the name of the round as an example again, just to make clear everyone gets what we're doing here. If we said chubby, what size is it? What size did we say a wombat was? Like the size is the bigger than badgers. Anyway, like a chubby Australian marsupial takes place in a fight to the death. That would be mortal wombat. So you would type in mortal wombat. The one letter changed. We've changed a K to a W to change combat to wombat. So it's a bit more high concept. But let's see how people have done here. All right. Okay, so people still thinking on this one. I haven't really been playing a lot of video games recently. How about anyone else? We got any gamers in? Some of these require a bit of lateral thinking. Maybe when you get what the one half of the clue is, so the clue leading to like the new word, the changed word, can help you get the title, because you're like, right, of course, that's one letter off from this. I can hear Beans harassing Jessica. I only play Final Fantasy VII, that's true. So sometimes I play Pokemon. Yeah, I'm not really well versed in gamer culture. And we've got a gaming round with no Final Fantasy VII references. I play the other Final Fantasies. I play Final Fantasies 6 through 10. There was that run of 5 of them that I played. I think people are not feeling super confident on this one. And I think some of our teams, some of our long-time teams who've been around for a while, have done pretty well on past Mortal Wombats. Monogamers. Was that Beans groaning at your pun there? We'll see. We'll see how you do. All right. How many teams are we waiting on now, Jessica? Waiting on 2 teams. All right. So get those guesses in. Yeah, this is tricky because it's testing 2 things. It's like your word play, kind of like linguistics and shit like that, part of your brain, but also remembering the names of video games. And we're just waiting on 1 team now, so if that's you, we'll give it a few more seconds, but just give it your best shot and hit enter, and we'll take a look at the answers, and you'll probably be like, oh, right. I feel like I didn't explain this round super well this time. You got there in the end, though, I think. All right, so hit submit, and we'll have a look. That I don't know why I said that with a cadence that it was going to rhyme, because it doesn't. Okay, here we go. Our spot's hard at work. And the answers. So, Street Fighter. Meryl Streep, but it's Street Fighter with Meryl Streep in it. We've changed a T to a P. Street Fighter. She's one of the most acclaimed film actresses of a generation, traveling around the world in a martial arts tournament. All right, we are crushing bandicoots. Crush bandicoots is this one. Next up, the pitcher. So we've changed a W to a P. I basically described the premise of The Witcher, but I've replaced Geralt of Rivia with a pitcher of margaritas. Next up, Fax Payne. So Max Payne has basically the same origin story as the Punisher. And here he's using obsolete office equipment, a fax machine, for example. And finally, if you add squid ink and activated charcoal to bisques and broths, you'll end up with some dark soups. So that's an RPG where you preserve the Age of Fire or usher in the Age of Dark. And don't forget to serve them with a roll to one side, because you might have a bread roll with soup, but also pretty much the most common combat strategy for those Souls games is ducking and rolling to dodge boss attacks. Lan Noir. That would be good. I don't know. Did they make an LA Noir game? If there's an LA Noir video game, I'm tempted to give that a point, even if it's not a perfect match to the plot. There is an LA Noir video game. Now, the plot doesn't involve tracking down the gangsters that killed your family, but I think from the strength of that, I kind of want to give a bonus point there. I'll confer with Jessica between rounds, because that's a very good one. And we've got a tie at the top now. So Big Bag of Cans, brain hurt doing that round, but paid off because you got 5 points. So that's 18 points at the top there for Corn Max and Big Bag of Cans. The Van Goghs just 2 points back with 16. F&B for Presidents 15. And yeah, you were right. That was a tough round for you. Cat Flaps with 14. Frankenbeans with 8. All right, well done, guys. So again, we got a tie at the top. We love to see it. And we're going to move on to our next round, round 7. All right, so round 6. Sorry, ZX, YX. So here we've taken the names of various musicians, bands, and artists, and we've kind of we've inverted them. They are the opposite. They are the antonym of that musician or artist. So ZX, YX are the opposite alphabet positions for AC/DC, for example. But we'll go on. I'll give you the antonym names, and you need to tell us what musician or band is the original. So let's see the first one, and you'll get it. So Shallow Yellow. What is Shallow Yellow the antonym name of? All right, next one. Stand Old. Stand Old. All right, number 3. Straight Brother. So one of our team's having a form issue. There's a link in the chat if that's you. All right, number 4. Mechanical Dark Soloist. Mechanical Dark Soloist. Could be like a pop goth band from the early 2000s. And last one, Private Friend. Sounds euphemistic. Private Friend. What is the antonym name that is a well-known musical artist or group? All right, so so these should be in the form for you, so you don't need those up on screen anymore. So the round title here, not quite as it's a little bit different from what we got in the round. Obviously, letters don't really have antonyms, so we had to get a bit creative there. But I think you get it. You get what we're going for here, right? I'd give more examples, but we might want to do this round again in the future. Oh, okay, that's coming from my headphones. That is how I communicate with Jessica when you guys, so I can see both her comments and the chat. It's like a Korean version of WhatsApp, Kakao Talk. So it does Kakao, Kuku. I see the similarity there. I didn't realize my headphones were up so loud. But yes, still use that app from when we lived in Korea, which was a long time ago. This may have been a bit of a strong one for drinking on stream. All right, so as with all typing rounds, this will be double checked by a human being, producer Jessica, for typos and stuff. Yeah, I'm going pretty much half deaf at this point. It's pretty frustrating for Jessica because we are staying with her parents at the moment. They're both hard of hearing. I'm going deaf. The dogs are going deaf. So Jessica has to repeat herself a lot. Yeah, it's just handy, isn't it? Like once you've got a messaging app, it's just easier to keep using the same one. Plus, Jessica has like long deleted most of her social media, so. All right, so calculating, that means everyone's got their guesses in. So the answers: shallow yellow, deep purple. On a color wheel, you ever do that at school in art? You see the color wheel, and yellow is opposite purple. They are the complementary colors. So shallow yellow is deep purple. Next up, stand old is kneel young. Standing and kneeling, you could consider them opposites. If you're Catholic, you know that stand and kneel, they are opposites for when you're in a service. All right, number 3, straight brother, the antonym of twisted sister. Queer sister, that would be a good one. That would just be a Scissor Sisters tribute act. Mechanical Dark Soloist, Electric Light Orchestra, or if you just want to try ELO, we would accept that because, of course, that's what the band is commonly known as. Electric Light Orchestra is Mechanical Dark Soloist. And Private Friend is Public Enemy. So, how do people do on that one? I really don't know. Most of these rounds, I can tell what's going to be a hard round, what's going to be an easy one. But this one could go either way, in my opinion. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. And we've added a half point for LA Noire to the Van Goghs just because it's a very good answer, and there is an LA Noire video game, so it's very close in description. And that means Big Bag of Cans, with another perfect round, has overtaken Cormac's Enterprises. It's the real high scoring from both teams there, pretty much just separated by they've each had a couple. They've had 2 bad rounds apiece. It's just a point here and there that's separating those 2 teams. Only half a point back, the Van Goghs. F&B for President, mounting a bit of a comeback there, 20 points. Cat Flaps 18 and Frankenbeans 12. Gay Dad for number 3. Yeah, brother and dad, not quite opposites, but we probably would have given the half point there. But anyway, let's have a look at round 7. So Skewer Tour, round 7. It's one of our periodic rounds we do where we take a look at similar foods from around the world. In this case, the classic, the unbeatable meat on a stick. Everyone loves meat on a stick. Pretty much every culture in the world has some version of meat on a stick. In this case, instead of being multiple choice, choosing the flags or countries, no flags. We've got 5 meats on sticks. We've got 5 countries, and you're just going to match. We've made it into a matching round. So we've got meat on a stick from the following countries: Brazil, China, Japan, Mexico, and Turkey. Let's look at the pictures, and you've just got to match them up. So here's the first one. Nom, 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 nom. These are all very tasty. I think I've eaten all of these and enjoyed them a lot. Next one, we've got that's chicken skin. So the first one was chunks of lamb. I can give like little descriptions with each one. First one, chunks of lamb that you'd dip in cumin and hot pepper. This one is chicken skin. This one is a bunch of meat with pineapple on top. Number 4. That's ground meat, minced meat, whatever you say where you're from. And that is big old chunks of beef. So you're going to match those meats on sticks to their countries of origin. No Dutch meat on a stick. The Berenhap, bear bite, meatball slices with onion rings, deep fried and served with satay sauce. Lovely. I think I have had those, but not in the Netherlands. Funnily enough, there was a Dutch cafe called the Van Gogh Cafe, actually, in Bucharest that served those. Yeah, very tasty. But I would like to have the real thing in the Netherlands one of these days. The Netherlands, they love a good deep fry. I respect the people who like who can really enjoy a deep fried food. Okie dokie. So get those all matched up. Some of them I think you can eliminate pretty well. Others, there's overlap in terms of similarity. But yeah, I've had them all, and I can tell you they are all very good. I mean, you can't really mess up meat on a stick too badly, can you? Probably one of the earliest methods of cooking ever used by people. Very universal, I think, connects to something primal in the brain. So waiting on a couple of teams to get those guesses in before we see how things stand heading into the final round. I want some meat on a stick. When was the last time we had meat on a stick? I feel like it's weirdly, yeah, well, Jessica doesn't eat meat, but meat substitute on a stick. We're now in a country where there are lots of meat substitutes available. A lot easier to get fake meat here than in Romania. I'll tell you that, even out here in rural Wisconsin. Okay, waiting on one team. I think we've fairly demystified what state we're in, at least. I don't think I have to say upper Midwest anymore. Yes, we're in Wisconsin, but you still don't know where in Wisconsin. I think Beans wants attention. Send her this way. I'll pet her if I must. All right, just waiting on one team, guys. So if that's you, next week, veggies on sticks. Not a bad idea. Veggies on sticks, also popular around the world. Well, where's Aswat? I can only see his accoutrement. All right, so let's have a look at the answers. Yeah, some of them are pretty convincing. I think it works best with burgers because it's easier to mimic the texture. And yeah, you're putting toppings on it anyway. So, I mean, especially in fast food burgers, you really don't know the difference. So these lamb skewers originated in China. As far as I know, these cool little metal, like self-rotating grills only came about in Korea. This kind of became a trend food in Korea while we were living there. But they are Chinese lamb skewers originally. Next up, chicken skin yum yum. One of my favorite things to get from like yakitori, like izakaya places. Yum yum, very good. Best bit of a chicken. Then that's tacos al pastor, or just the meats al pastor. So Turkish and Lebanese immigrants to Mexico bought the doner kebab with them, added Mexican spices and seasoning and pineapple, and you end up with tacos al pastor. One of the best tacos, I would say. Next up, the Adana kebab from, you guessed it, Adana in Turkey. Kind of very similar to a kofta. I'm not exactly sure what precisely distinguishes an Adana kebab from a kofta, but yeah, Adana kebab, very tasty as well. And picanha from Brazil, steak. So that's actually the cut of steak. So, I mean, Brazilian steakhouses will put all kinds of meat on these big blades like this. But these picanha steaks are like the star of the show. Very good. So, let's see how people did there. I think the al pastor might have tricked a few people. Looks real Turkish, but it's Mexican. And Big Bag of Cans had a really strong round there. 5 points there, and it's a good sign when you get 5 points and everyone else is getting ones and zeros. So 28 points for Big Bag of Cans. Looks like victory is all but assured. Cornmax Enterprises with 23 points. They're in second place. Van Gogh's 1 point behind. So still everything to play for those podium positions. F&B for President's definitely still in the running for finishing second as well. And then we've got Cat Flaps on 18 after a strong start. I guess meat wasn't a great choice for our veggie teams, and Frankenbeans with 1 point. They end up on 13. So we're going into the final round. Very convincing lead for Big Bag of Cans there. Yeah, just as hungry as me, for sure. Let's see how everyone else finishes. Ironically, had a vegan dinner. Maybe that's why your mind was more keenly focused on meat. All right, so let's have a look at our final round of general knowledge questions. So, Czech officials were surprised earlier this year after what was turned in during a nationwide weapons amnesty. Was it anti-aircraft artillery, a grenade launcher, a Soviet tank, or a landmine? So, which one is which there? Or not which one's which one is it? All right, question 2. The world's largest what was recently stolen from Worcestershire in England? Was that the world's largest onion, the world's largest rabbit, the world's largest horseshoe, or the world's largest bottle of Leon Perrins? That's Worcestershire for our non-British viewers. All right, so question 3. The busiest airport in terms of number of passengers in the world in 2020 was Guangzhou Baiyun Airport. So that was probably just due to COVID travel restrictions. Which airport had held the position for the 22 consecutive years prior to that? So Guangzhou was the busiest this year, but for the last 22 years, has it been London Heathrow, Istanbul Airport, Singapore Changi Airport, or Hartfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport? So which of those 4 airports had been the busiest in the world for the last 22 years? All right, number 3. The Hubble telescope was launched 31 years ago. Yesterday, not today. It was today when I wrote the question. The telescope uses about the same amount of power as a 42-inch LED TV, an electric power shower, an electric kettle, or a refrigerator. So in terms of wattage, what is Hubble about the same wattage as of those household appliances? Sarah flew into Guangzhou when she was flying to China, is it? So she contributed to its position as number 1 in the world. Okay, I'm getting some salty comments. I'm getting some commentary here in the slides. Okay, so here we go. This one's more of a math problem. So if Usain Bolt could constantly maintain the speed from his world record 9.58 second 100-meter run, that's the world record he set in Berlin in 2009, how long would it take him to run from the Olympia Stadium in Berlin, where he set the record, to his next Olympics appearance at London 2012 as the crow flies? So we're going from Olympia Stadium in Berlin to London Stadium, the Olympic Stadium in Stratford in London, as the crow flies, maintaining his average speed from that world record run constantly the whole time. How long would that take him? Would he get there in 13 hours and 2 minutes, 24 hours and 18 minutes, 2 days, 4 hours and 31 minutes, or 5 days, 7 hours and 11 minutes? So from Berlin to London, doing a 9.5-second 100-meter at that constant speed straight line. So that would be it. So no one in and out of Beijing. So everyone was going in and out of Guangzhou. They only had a 40% drop in passengers during 2020, whereas other airports had 60% more or more reduction. So that's why. So I guess part of China's COVID management strategy was just reduce air travel as much as possible, and if you absolutely have to, you're all going to go to one place, so it's not getting spread all over the country. That makes sense. I mean, obviously it worked because they did pretty well there. They managed the virus quite effectively. But it did bump Guangzhou up the world rankings all the way to the number one spot. I think it had been the 11th busiest the year before. Oh man, I didn't expect that meat on a stick round to really be quite the shaking things up the way that it did. Here comes a meat on a stick. Here comes a stick of meat. All right. Oh, she's yawning. What are you yawning for? What are you yawning for? You got a full night's sleep. All right, so get those answers in, and there's still a fierce battle for second and third position. Those silver and bronze medals, but it does seem like Big Bag of Cans has this one in the bag, in the Big Bag of Cans. All right, and we're just waiting on one team, so let's see who it's gonna be. So hit submit if that's you. Oh, Beanie. Beanie. Look at these ears. Look at these ears. Ears. All right. Oh, something's wrong. I think Jessica might be having some computer problems. So I might have to figure this out myself. So please bear with me. I'm just going to confer with her, see if she can let me know what's going on. Okay. So I don't know if you can hear that. Jessica's computer just restarted. She is running the stream. So let's see if I can get the if I can find the scoreboard at least. The answers, right? Okay, yeah, I'll do the answers, and then hopefully by the time I've read the answers, Jessica will be back up and running. Okay, yes, her MacBook. I think we're gonna have to source a new one. Okay, so first up, Czech officials were surprised earlier this year after a Soviet tank was turned in during a nationwide weapons amnesty. The Soviet tank was actually painted pink for reasons that were not disclosed. And I think the guy gets to keep the tank. He turned it in to have the guns removed or made decommissioned, so it can't be used as a weapon anymore. But he apparently will be allowed to keep the tank. At least that's what the article seemed to imply. Next up, the world's largest rabbit, Darius the rabbit, was stolen from Worcestershire in England. He's been missing for about a week. Then after that, we had the busiest airport in the world before COVID and for like the last 2 decades has been Atlanta Airport, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, if you're nasty. So, yeah, that's the Delta hub. So they're the biggest airline in the US, and a whole ton of flights. If you're flying pretty much to anywhere in the eastern United States from the western United States or from the rest of the world, you're coming in to Atlanta if you're flying with Delta or a Delta affiliate. Then the Hubble telescope uses about the same amount of power as an electric kettle. I mean, honestly, I was surprised the order of power consumption of those devices. Electric power shower by far consumes the most power. Then it's an electric kettle. Then the TV, then the refrigerator. So I assumed refrigerators used loads of power, but apparently not that much. Oh, we've got pictures. Okay, Jessica's back. Yes, there we can see the rabbit. That is big. That's a mentally big rabbit. Apparently, Atlanta Airport sucks, according to Kelsey. I've never been. Hopefully, I'll be able to avoid it. I've flown in and out of the US a bunch of times, and so far, I've managed to avoid Atlanta. I do want to go to Atlanta, so it would be difficult to avoid the airport in that situation. Yeah, it would be hard to steal such a big rabbit. So electric kettle, and then the last answer. It would take Usain Bolt about a day to run from Berlin to London if he could do it in a straight line and if he could maintain his 100-meter speed the whole time without stopping. All right, so let's see the final scores. Drum roll, please. All right, here we go. All right, so a very convincing victory there for Big Bag of Cans. 30 points, well done there. The Van Goghs did close that gap a little bit, 26.5 points there. A well-earned second place. Yeah, honestly, just that 1 meat on a stick round was what made all the difference. So sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. And Cormax Enterprises, leading for a while there, finishes in third place with 24 points. Then we've got F&B for Presidents at 22. Cat Flaps, a single point back on 21. And Frankenbeans finishing with 15 points there. Very, very strong performance from Big Bag of Cans there. So well done there. Great job, Shane. Well done to everyone else who was playing. Thanks for coming. A lot of fun. We'll be back on Thursday with our speed quiz. That's on at tea time. So 6:30 in the UK, 7:30 in Western Europe. That's not the UK and Ireland. 6:30, Netherlands and Germany, 7:30, and lunchtime here in Wisconsin. So yeah, sorry about the crash. Not dog related. Just tech stuff. It seems like we have a different tech thing every week since we've gotten here, but we will get all our tech repaired and up to date. Thanks for playing. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Matt and Kelsey. Thanks for coming. We'll see some of you on Thursday, I hope. And if not, we'll see you next Monday. All right. Have a great week, guys. See you later this week. Bye-bye.